Welcome back everyone to another Kenshi news video. Today I'm going to be going over the November community update, which covered a few topics from Kenshi 2 as well as Kenshi 1, as well as a couple photos of essentially concept art for armor in the game. So one thing is the community events, and the Halloween modding competition is now ended, so they're going to announce the winners for that soon. I just want to say it is pretty cool that they're supporting the modders some way. You know, not too many games really do this, or community events like this, so I hope we do see a few more of these in the future. But next, the big one, building Kenshi 2. As we aim to finish creating Kenshi 2 prior to the heat and death of the universe, Lo-Fi Games and our expanding staff team and working with freelance artists to get Kenshi 2 started. Outside of the studio, eagle-eyed users on the Kenshi subreddit noticed Eugenia Peruzzo shared a samurai military guard's armor set, and I'm putting it on the screen right now. I think it looks very nice. The ropes around everything really hold it all together. No, I do like it, and I like how the armor is half covering the arms. It gives off sort of a wasteland aesthetic. I really like this one. And after this, we get a concept art created by 5518 Studios, which gave a small peek at the aesthetic that users can expect this time around. And we basically get three different models here. The first one, similar to the other one, uses rope to hold most of the equipment together. And it looks like he has shoulder blades that have some kind of spikes on them. I think this gear is pretty cool. On number 2, basically the same thing, but more of a metal plate design and leaving more of a torso exposed. And in number 3, we probably get a lighter type of equipment, which seems to be not covering the stomach at all, as well as the legs being partially exposed. This one, to be honest, I'm not too sure about. I like how the metal plates are all held together like the other one. But these are all just concept arts. They're sure to change and make more as time goes on. Anyways, after that, they say concurrently inside the studio, we welcome 2 additional members to the team, and they hired someone to work on the GUI and a few other things, as well as a concept artist who has been drafting incredible buildings and environments that they're keeping a secret for now. And on top of that, they're looking for an experienced technical lead and a lead artist to join the team full time. This is great. I'm glad they're expanding their staff and getting more help. They're already onto making drafts of building and environments. You know, I can't wait to see some of the designs that are coming out. After this, there's a few different posts, sort of paragraphs and categories. The first one, Blast from the Past. In our original post about the engine change, Chris mentioned that Kenshi 2 in Unreal would likely make modding more powerful but more difficult. Though we'd do our best to keep the trend of allowing users to make a relative sandbox in how they modify their playable sandbox. Access to the project and the Unreal Editor's toolkit means we're expecting to see even more depth to the community mods, but also raise some concerns about the average player who might want to tweak the game without learning a new and complicated piece of software, regarding how powerful it may be. To that end, we're exploring what functions can be kept from the forgotten construction set and the current methods of map editing. The overarching aim here is to retain a lot of ability for players to make small modifications similar to what's popular in Kenshi 1 and fan translations without needing to touch Unreal Editor, though it's important to stress that it's too early to promise an exact feature set right now. So this basically, they're talking about how Kenshi 1 has a mod editor that you can sort of go in the game and mod things in the game, and it's built into the game. But if Kenshi 2 is made in Unreal Engine, they might have to make it so people have to use the Unreal Editor to actually make mods. I think if they can manage to get both working, that would be pretty good, as the Unreal Engine probably has a lot more that they can do. Like, you could probably make like really in-depth quest mods or sort of change aspects of the game, which in the current Kenshi 1 there's certain things that are just unmoddable, like you can't mod them into the game. The next one, The World of Tomorrow. In addition to what we keep from Kenshi, we're investing a lot of time in understanding what the features in Unreal can add to Kenshi 2. To give some obvious examples, unlike the older systems used for Kenshi, Unreal supports more detailed lighting, expansive weather conditions, and more intricate time of day cycles, which makes sense to investigate as we build the new game. As with above, it's too soon to commit to specifics, but if and when it's time, they would comfortably warrant their own posts to detail how they change character interactions in the world. And then future reveals. As a firm believer in managing expectations, posting during exploration and investigative stages will leave the initial updates lighter than those further into the project, but a monthly schedule will probably seem almost too infrequent later down the line. To that end, we're sticking with it, and things may get a bit more technical for the next few. And after this, they go on to talk about supporting Kenshi 1. Despite some users loudly disagreeing the end of support for Kenshi 1, as mentioned before, this isn't the case, and we're still actively squashing bugs and tweaking gameplay. We deployed a number of fixes across the last month, using our opt-in only experimental branch as a means of testing them before merging them into the release build that typical users play. Most recently, Kenshi 1.4 includes fixes for a number of issues, such as several crashes reported on the forums. This also helps reduce the amount of time community members have to invest in upkeep of their modifications and changes to the game, as generally the release version updates are better tested compilations of several patches and therefore less frequent. No, I think it's good they added out some new updates for Kenshi 1. The only problem is I don't know if anyone else had the same issue, but my Kenshi 1 game is sort of wonked out right now. Once I downloaded the update, all the characters' heads are sort of going to the middle of a camera. It's fucking weird, but I think I can figure it out. But either way, yeah, the bug fixes are definitely needed and appreciated, but I don't think it's likely for them to be adding new game features into Kenshi 1, or at least very many. If they're gonna remaster Kenshi 1 in Unreal Engine, I think they just take most of the things that they make into Kenshi 2, or that they would have put into the first Kenshi, into the remaster. Then after this, they talk about Kenshi and the We Play Indie Awards, and they're up for a nomination, which is pretty cool, as well as on the Steam Awards. They said while it's tempting to shoot for the Game of the Year award, we're aiming for the Best Game You Suck At award, in homage to all the would-be protagonists that met an untimely end fighting everyone's favorite murderous pseudo-drafts, or entered the world for the first time and expected to win a duel against an angry goat. I was gonna vote Kenshi for Game of the Year, but you can only vote them for one slot, and seeing as there is probably a lot of competition for Game of the Year, even though it is probably most of our Game of the Year, I would say put your vote in the Best Game You Suck At award, as they probably definitely have a good chance to win that, and I think a lot of people would admit Kenshi is probably the hardest game that is very difficult to master. I can't think of a game in the past 10 years that I can really compare next to Kenshi. And after that, they basically just say Thanksgiving and stuff and end off the update. I think this update was pretty decent with the concept art. I'm glad we got to see that more publicly. I missed it on a subreddit, and I'm usually checking that every day or so. As for supporting Kenshi 1, they are doing bug fixes on Kenshi 1 still, continuing to update the game, so you can't really complain or say they aren't supporting the game. So it's good that they still are putting some time into the current game. Also, with the aim to create Kenshi before the heat death of the universe, I'm thinking we're gonna try and make Kenshi in maybe 2 to 3 years. I could see maybe possible. If Chris Hunt could make this game just about by himself with very little help in 12 years, they've already got a staff way bigger than one. We'll really just have to keep looking at the updates that they put out, and eventually we'll probably get some new news about when a Kenshi 2 build will be available, or when they're finished certain parts of the game, because they're really early into development. Yeah, that's about it. It was a pretty decent update, I think. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a like and let me know in the comment section below. I know now that quite a few of you don't read these blog updates and stuff, so watching videos on them is a lot easier for some of you. And also make sure you subscribe if you do want to see more shit. And yeah, fucking stay ballin'. Peace.